Hi friends, I'm Brian Amador from Sol y Canto, and I'm here to show you how to make my salsa that is a staple in our house. My daughter Elisa calls it sweet torture. Why? Because it's delicious and a little bit torturous.
I agree. That would be the videographer, Rosy Amador.
So anyway, here's what we need for this wonderful salsa. It's based on tomatillos, and if you've never cooked with tomatillos before, this is what they look like when you get them from the store. It has a husk on it that needs to be removed, like this. Quite easy most of the time, although sometimes they kind of stick. But anyway, I always look for tomatillos that have a loose husk, so it'll be easier to get the husk off. Then you just rinse them off. So this is the quantity I'm making now. What I usually do is I shoot for having about the same quantity of tomatillos as tomatoes. Plum tomatoes are fine. They're usually cheaper than other kinds, and in the salsa they will taste exactly the same, so there's no reason to buy expensive tomatoes. So then you just have your tomatoes, or basically you want the tomatoes and the tomatillos to be roughly the same size so they cook at the same rate and roughly the same quantity. Why do I use tomatoes and tomatillos? Because tomatillos, they have this delicious citrusy flavor, but they also have a great deal of pectin. And if you make this salsa without tomatoes, just with tomatillos, you will not have salsa, you will have jelly.
Oh.
So instead of a tomatillo jelly, we are going to make a salsa. So that's the prep. You put it in the oven at 350 for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, until the tomatillos are very liquidy, they're collapsing and they're a little browned, and then you'll be ready to go. Actually, I did forget one other thing, which is that these chiles, I didn't tell you about my chiles.
You gotta
Those
talk
are
about
going to
this.
go in later. So this is a serrano chile, it's a huge one. But usually I use one serrano, one jalapeno, this is most of a jalapeno, very large one, and one habanero. That's where you're going to get your biggest heat from. The serrano and the jalapeno, you don't really need to take out the seeds unless you're very sensitive to heat, but they'll give you some nice heat. The habanero, take out the seeds as much as you can, because it's going to be too much.
That's right.
And you don't want a salsa that just blows the top of your head off.
By the way, I think it's pretty cool that your Chile poster is right behind you.
Yeah, I know, right? I planned it that way. Now this huge jalapeno, I think I am going to take these seeds out just for the heck of it. Like
me?
I say, it's optional
please
for
me?
Rosie, to please Rosie. Because it's sort of a symbolic gesture, but we'll see. But not all of them, of course. So anyway, that's it. That's the prep on our chiles, and there's actually going to go. There's one other chile that will go into this at
yeah?
the last minute. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the tomatillos, the onion, and the tomatoes in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to add the chiles in for another 10-15 minutes. And I'll see you back at the other end of that roasting.
Okay, part two. It's a
All
little
right,
later.
Here we are. As
Half
you
an
can
hour later.
see,
Ding,
I have
ding,
pulled
ding,
these
ding,
ingredients
ding,
out of the
ding,
oven. Here are my beautiful little tomatillos, and they're very squishy, as you
Vamos
can
a ver.
see. See how squishy they are? Almost liquid on the inside. And see all that little brown juice there? You definitely want to keep as much of that as you can, because there is so much flavor in it. Got our tomatoes, we got our chiles.
Oh, and you're using your fancy acrylic thing, no?
It's a silicone pad, so
Silicone
things
pad.
don't stick. Yeah.
Things don't stick. Little tips.
Got
Chef
our
tips.
onions. So all we need to do is throw all this stuff in our trusty little blender.
Use the Vitamix. Best purchase we ever made.
And like I say, I'm gonna try and get some of those sticky bits, which are so yummy.
We're gonna get that up there? Wow.
Whatever I can, yeah, because
Muy
all
bien.
this dark little juice is
Wow.
very, very, very full
Delicious.
of flavor. So I'm just going to take this up and try and drain as much of it into the blender as possible. And there we go. Then, the final chile is a chipotle pepper. Chipotle is a smoked jalapeno pepper You can buy them in cans in adobo, which is a sauce with tomatoes and carrots and stuff. That one looks like more than one pepper. So I'm gonna try and just get one of these guys.
Let's see.
They come in different sizes. I want one that's kind of medium sized. There we go. That should do it. All right.
Come now, come now.
Yeah, it's being very difficult.
Coopera.
Coopera chipotle. Here we go. There's a
Wow.
good one. Medium sized chipotle
Okay.
with some of the juice. Throw that in there. And finally, a little bit of salt.
You call that a little bit, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's quite a big batch of,
Yeah, it is.
pretty good sized batch of salsa here. And a little bit of lemon juice. I have this bottled lemon juice because I'm too lazy to squeeze lemons. But it's probably about the equivalent of half a lemon.
Okay.
And then, all we gotta do is blend it. You wanna do it not too much because you still wanna have some chunkiness in it. But you don't want to make huge pieces of chili either. I'm thinking that probably should do it.
Wow.
And then,
That's like 10 seconds.
what I usually do, yeah, it's not long. Just taste a little bit. Should be a little painful. And that's good. It's just a little bit painful.
For you.
And here is the final product. So there you have it.
Ooh, can you smell it?
It is tomatillo and tomato salsa. Good on just about everything.